See it my way. Do I have to keep on talking to the reason with me? The time to wallow in the mire. Shine a weekend on.
The 60s gave us legends like the Beatles, the Rolling Stones, and the Doors. But what about the unsung icons? Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs, the Left Banke, the Marcells? These names might not ring a bell, but their hits defined dance floors and radio waves back then, and still spark nostalgia today. Welcome to Days Gone By, as we rediscover 13 unforgettable 60s bands you didn't realize you were missing. The Left Banke was a highly innovative 1960s pop rock group that pioneered the Baroque pop genre with their elegant orchestral arrangements and emotive songwriting. Formed in New York City, the original lineup included Michael Brown, keyboards, George F. Cameron, drums, Tom Finn, bass, Jeff Winfield, guitar, and Steve Martin, vocals. Their music blended lush string arrangements with soaring vocals, creating a sound both unique and timeless. Despite their musical innovation, internal tensions plagued the Left Banke. Brown's dominance as a songwriter caused friction, particularly with members whose contributions like guitar work were marginalized. Brown's reluctance to tour further strained the group. By late 1967, competing singles from two versions of the band, one led by Brown, confused audiences and diminished their momentum. Their ambitious single, Desire, a rich orchestral piece, barely charted, signaling the beginning of the end. Brown left, and subsequent albums failed to recapture their earlier magic. Poor management, conflicting visions, and a lack of commercial success led to the band's dissolution in 1969. A brief reunion in the early 1970s saw the Left Banke contribute 2 tracks to the soundtrack of Hot Pants Holiday, 1971. Though the accompanying single failed commercially, another reunion in the late 1970s produced the album Strangers on a Train, which was delayed until its release in 1986. In 2010, the Left Banke re-emerged, performing live in New York City to critical acclaim. The Flying Machine was an English pop band formed in 1969 in Rugby, Warwickshire. They gained significant recognition in the United States with their hit single, Smile a Little Smile for Me, which peaked at number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1969. This song, written by producers Tony McCauley and Geoff Stevens, became their signature track despite not charting in the UK. Following Smile a Little Smile for Me, the band released Baby Make It Soon, which reached number 87 on the Hot 100, but did not achieve the same success. The band was reportedly feeling stonewalled by the pop-oriented music they were playing. So, in their next move, they released their second and last single, The Devil Has Possession of Your Mind, to suggest a shift in musical style, but the band called it quits after its release. Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs, formed by Domingo Sam Samudio in 1961, gained fame in the mid-1960s, with hits like Wooly Bully and Lil Red Riding Hood. However, the band's success was short-lived. Several factors contributed to the split. Internal conflicts arose primarily due to financial disputes among band members after the massive success of Wooly Bully, which sold 3 million copies and peaked at number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100. Tensions escalated. In late 1965, key members including David Martin, Jerry Patterson, Ray Stinnett, and Butch Gibson left the group over disagreements regarding finances and creative direction. This exodus forced Samudio to recruit new musicians, disrupting the band's cohesion and performance dynamics. Additionally, pressure from the music industry played a significant role in their decline. Following their initial hits, MGM Records pushed for more novelty songs that adhered to a specific formula, leading Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs away from their original garage sound towards lighter, juvenile themes. This shift alienated some fans and contributed to a decline in their popularity. By 1967, after a series of less successful releases and a changing musical landscape influenced by the British invasion and involving rock styles, Sam the Sham and the Pharaohs disbanded. one of classic rock's true one-hit wonders. The Youngbloods had a brief but interesting career. The band, known for their hit Get Together, disbanded primarily due to internal conflicts and a decline in musical cohesion. After their peak success in late 1960s, the band faced challenges when Jerry Corbett left, reducing them to a trio. The shift disrupted their dynamic, as many felt Corbett's songwriting and presence were crucial to their sound. Following the release of their acclaimed album Elephant Mountain, subsequent albums struggled with inconsistency. The band's mellow California rock sound began to lose its appeal, leading to disappointing album sales and critical reception. By 1972, after releasing High on a Ridge Top, which failed to chart significantly, the group decided to part ways. Jesse Colin Young sought to pursue a solo career, while remaining members Lowell Levenger and Joe Bauer briefly formed another band called Banana and the Bunch, before disbanding as well. Despite a brief reunion in the mid-1980s, which included new members, the Youngbloods ultimately disbanded again after the tour concluded. The Rascals, originally known as the Young Rascals, were an influential American rock band formed in 1965 in Garfield, New Jersey. The group gained prominence in the mid-1960s by blending soul music with rock, achieving significant commercial success with hits such as Good Lovin', Groovin', and People Got to Be Free. Their sound was characterized by a unique combination of hard R&B and British invasion energy, featuring tight harmonies and dynamic arrangements. They became one of the leading examples of blue-eyed soul, alongside groups like Righteous Brothers, and were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1997. Despite their initial success, the Rascals faced challenges that ultimately led to their disbandment in the early 1970s. Internal conflicts began to surface as key members left the group. Eddie Brigati departed in 1971, followed by Gene Cornish in 1972. These changes disrupted the band's creative cohesion and direction. Additionally, their popularity reduced during this period, with declining record sales and concert attendance contributing to their struggles. Although they attempted to revitalize their sound by changing labels and adding new members, these efforts did not yield the desired results. The combination of personnel changes, diminishing commercial success, and ongoing legal disputes regarding their name led to the band's breakup. Despite attempts at reunions in later years, the Rascals never recaptured their former glory. The Turtles are an American rock band from Los Angeles, best known for their iconic hit Happy Together. Formed in 1965, the group originally consisted of Howard Kaylan, Mark Volman, Al Nicole, Don Murray, and Jim Tucker. They initially started as a folk rock band called the Night Riders before rebranding as the Turtles in 1966. The band achieved significant success with their cover of Bob Dylan's It Ain't Me Babe, which reached number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100 in 1965. Their biggest hit, Happy Together, topped the charts in 1967 and remains a defining song of the 1960s. Other notable singles include She'd Rather Be With Me and Eleanor, both of which also climbed into the top 10. In 1968, Kaylan and Volman left the Turtles to form a new group called Flo and Eddie with Frank Zappa. Despite changes in the lineup and management issues that plagued the band, they continued to produce music until their disbandment in 1970. The Turtles' music has had a lasting impact on pop culture, with their songs featured in films like Forrest Gump and TV shows like Friends. Their unique blend of folk rock and pop helped shape the music landscape of the late 1960s, making them a significant part of that era's musical history. After disbanding, Kaylan and Volman enjoyed successful careers as session musicians and performers under various names, including Flo and Eddie. Today, their legacy endures through their timeless hits and influence on subsequent generations of musicians. The Buckinghams, an American pop band formed in 1967 in Chicago, gained significant popularity during the late 1960s. They first garnered attention by winning a Battle of the Bands contest, which led to a 14-week gig on a local TV show called All Time Hits. To align with the British invasion trend, they adopted the name The Buckinghams. Their breakthrough single, Kind of a Drag was released in 1966 and quickly became a major hit, reaching number 1 on the US pop charts and selling over 1 million copies. Written by Chicago songwriter Jim Holvey, the song showcased their distinctive horn-driven rock sound, further enhanced by arrangements from Frank Tuszynski. Following this success, they recorded several more hits including Don't You Care, Mercy, 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 and Susan. Despite their early success, the Buckinghams faced challenges that hindered their ability to maintain momentum. Personnel changes and management issues contributed to the declining output after 1968. The group eventually dissolved after charting only 1 additional hit following their peak period. However, original members Giamarese and Fortuna revived the band in the early 1980s and have continued to perform. The Buckinghams remain a notable part of rock history, remembered for their catchy melodies and vibrant performances during a transformative era in music. The Marmalade is a Scottish pop rock band that started in Glasgow in 1961, originally known as the Gaylords. After several name changes and lineup changes, they settled on the name Marmalade in 1966. They found success in the late 1960s and early 1970s, with their most famous song being Reflections of My Life, released in 1969. This track became a major hit, reaching number 10 on the US Billboard Hot 100, and showcasing their ability to create music that connected with listeners. The song's emotional lyrics and catchy melody helped it stand out, and it often draws comparisons to the work of the Beatles. Another significant hit for them was their cover of Obladi Oblada, which topped the UK charts and further solidified their presence in the pop music scene. Despite their early success and a loyal fan base, Marmalade faced challenges as the music scene changed rapidly in the early 1970s. New musical trends emerged, making it difficult for them to maintain their popularity. This shift led to a decline in their commercial success, as they struggled to replicate the impact of their earlier hits. The Shadows of Night, an influential American rock band from Chicago, had a sound heavily influenced by British blues and R&B, which resonated with the garage rock movement of the time. The Shadows of Night's music blended elements of hard-edged R&B with a gritty Chicago sound, creating what some have termed blues punk. Their early works were marked by a dynamic live presence, particularly at venues like The Cellar in Arlington Heights, where they drew large crowds. The band's most significant achievement came with their cover of Gloria, originally by Van Morrison's group Them. Released in 1965, it reached number 10 on the Billboard charts, propelling them into the spotlight. Despite their initial success, the band struggled to maintain long-term popularity as musical tastes evolved through the late 1960s and early 1970s. By 1967, internal conflicts and management issues led to significant lineup changes, with Sons becoming the last original member by that time. The band attempted to adapt by singing with Buddha Records and shifting towards a more commercial sound, but failed to replicate their earlier success. Their later singles did not achieve notable chart success, marking a decline in their prominence. Nonetheless, the Shadows of Night remain a celebrated part of garage rock history, particularly for their energetic performances and contributions to the genre during its formative years. Best known for their hit single, I Had Too Much to Dream Last Night, which became a defining track of the 1960s movement, the Electric Prunes are a notable American psychedelic rock band that emerged in the mid-1960s in Los Angeles. The band had originally started as a garage rock group called The Sanctions before transforming into the Electric Prunes. Their self-titled debut album included hits like I Had Too Much to Dream Last Night and Get Me to the World on Time. As they progressed, they experimented with their sound, particularly on their second album, Underground. Despite their early success, the band faced challenges as musical taste shifted away from psychedelia. By 1968, internal conflicts and changes in the music industry led to their disbandment. Some later albums were produced under their name, but featured different musicians, which diluted the original band's identity. Manfred Mann was an influential English rock band formed in London in 1962, named after their South African-born keyboardist, Manfred Mann. The band became known for their unique blend of rhythm and blues, pop, and jazz influences. The band's breakthrough came with their hit 54321 in 1964, which served as the theme for the ITV show Ready, Set, Go. This success was quickly followed by 3 #1 singles on the UK charts: Do Wah Diddy Diddy, Pretty Flamingo, and Bob Dylan's The Mighty Quinn 1968. Notably, they were the first Southern England-based band to top the US Billboard Hot 100 during the British invasion. Despite their success, Manfred Mann disbanded in 1969 due to frustrations with their image and the limitations of being perceived solely as a hit singles band. By this time, the group had experienced significant commercial success, but felt constrained by the pop music scene, particularly as their last 2 albums failed to chart. This dissatisfaction was compounded by a desire among members, especially Manfred Mann and Mike Hug, to pursue more serious and progressive musical directions, rather than continuing to produce accessible pop hits. If you're a fan of psychobilly music mixed with surf beats, you owe a nod to Nero and the Gladiators. Emerging in the early 1960s, this British instrumental rock band played a key role in shaping the sound that fans of these genres adore today. Their innovative fusion of surf rhythms and rock elements cemented their place as trailblazers. The band is best known for their instrumental tracks, particularly in The Hall of the Mountain King and Entry of the Gladiators. These tracks gave classical compositions a rock makeover. While their music lacked lyrics to connect with a broader audience, it thrived within niche circles, earning a devoted following. Their music was characterized by a hypnotic and sometimes dark vibe, often infused with a groovy surfer influence. This unique blend has led to their appreciation among psychobilly enthusiasts who recognize Nero and the Gladiators as foundational to that genre's development. Despite being one of the more forgotten rock bands from the 1960s, Nero and the Gladiators maintained an active presence for approximately 56 years, concluding their career in 2006. The Gentle Soul are recognized for their psychedelic soft rock sound, characterized by harmony-heavy vocals and a blend of folk and rock influences. The Gentle Soul emerged from a shared passion for music and spiritual exploration. Polland, who had early collaborations with notable musicians like Ry Cooder, sought a partner to complement her vocal harmonies. This led to her meeting Stanley, with whom she developed a strong musical synergy. Despite being signed to a major label, the Gentle Soul faced significant challenges in gaining traction within the music industry. Their lack of promotional support hindered their ability to tour and connect with audiences. They never achieved significant commercial success and faded into obscurity. Yesterday's hits, today's hidden treasures. Ready to uncover more forgotten legends? Click the next video and explore the melodies time almost left behind. Don't wait before history turns the page for good. See you in the next video.